Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chum Change, just live recorded. We're just going to go over some crypto news. So there was a very interesting video talking about Kaspa that I actually watched last night that I would like to share with all of you guys. AJ Wright actually is one of Ben Armstrong's guys that are, he's more or less on his team, right? But he has his own channel like off to the side, and he actually made a great video about Kaspa, kind of explaining it and stuff. So I kind of want to watch that with you guys and just get into that a bit. We're going to go over some, actually, you know what? I'm just going to not even talk about ETF news because that's pretty much all we've been talking about. But we are going to watch an interview with Altcoin Daily where they actually talk about, you know, the overall sentiment in the market and things along those lines. But anyways, we're going to check out the prices of crypto and all of that. Let's see who's in the chat first, and then we'll go from there. Let's see. Mr. Chris Hanley. What's up, buddy? He's dealing with kids this morning, saying dealing with runny noses. Was that you that said that? Actually, I think I caught that in the chat. My kids were sick this weekend too, so pretty rough. What's up, Crypto KJ? Congrats on the hash rate winning. Mr. Andrew Masad, good to see you. We have Chris Hanley, Dom G. I already said Chris Hanley. I said it again. Chance Claus, what's up, buddy? All Set Miner, good to see you. Endless Mining, what's up, man? Steven Cicero, Kyle Rosa, Integra Guy, good morning. Zax, Backwards Miner, Mr. DJ Mines, my man. Appreciate you. All right, guys, let's get into this. Let's see what we're looking like for the day. Bitcoin 36,947, not too bad, just under 37,000. Ethereum is actually surprising me the most, I would say, holding up over 2,000 and decently over it, right? It's not like right on the line. It's at least, you know, 50 bucks above. That's pretty good. We're looking, Kaspa's having a little bit down of a day today, but still over 8 cents is hugely bullish, at least in my opinion. We have Filecoin. What is Filecoin doing? Up it's up 14%. It's to $5.46. Let's see. BNB is down to 245, down 1.31%. Dogecoin is under 8 cents. It's at 7.7. Not too bad though. Let's see. All right, you know, let's jump over to Crypto Bubble, see what we got here. So this is on the week. Oh, this is something I wanted to talk about today too. So this whole Gary Gensler stating that the FTX could relaunch their exchange as long as they follow the rules and regulations that they should, which is absolutely absurd. And you know what? The interview that we actually are going to watch with Altcoin Daily, the guy goes on to talk about this and how Gary Gensler is maybe not intentionally, but he is absolutely pushing the market in one direction or another with certain coins. Like, you know, when they came out against Coinbase and stating that certain coins are securities, like he gave like a whole list of coins. Like all those coins took a huge hit, and now you could see this again with this FTX BS, right? This FTT token. It's pumping over, it's 202% over the past week because he spoke about it like that, which is such bullshit. I don't know, it drives me nuts. Anyways, Solana's up 41% on the week. We have TIA up 131%. What is this? Oh, Celestia, is that how you say that? I don't even know how to say this. Kujira? Is that how you say that? Up 128%. Not too bad. Everything else, I mean, everything looks pretty green. This is the top 100 coins, by the way. It's not everything. Render's down 3.9%, but still over $2.35. That's pretty good. Check out the day. All right, so TIA is up on the day, Celestia. Filecoin's up 14.2% today. Again, $5.45. Really nothing else jumps out at me except for Render really being down 4.7%, but still it's over $2.35, so I can't really complain there. EHEX, actually, you know what? I'm wondering, has there been any news on this Richard Hart guy and his court stuff? Does anybody know? Please let me know if you guys do in the chat. All right, check out the Fear and Greed Index, looking like a 72. It's in the greed, so again, be greedy when people are fearful and be fearful when people are greedy. When this thing starts pinging up here when these ETFs hit, you guys should probably think about taking profits. Not financial advice, just my opinion. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. As always, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether. We have BNB, XRP, Solana in 6th place. USDC, Lido Staked Ether, Cardano, and Dogecoin is back in 10th. We have Litecoin in 17th, Shiba in 19th, and Bitcoin Cash in 21st. Interesting. Not too bad. All right, let's jump over. Oh, you know what? I forgot to use my tickers today. Damn it. That was supposed to be the market stuff. Anyways, let's get into the mining section. All right, so this is the part of the channel or the segment of the morning stream where I want to capture, basically put a time capsule in to see where these miners go to in the bull run, right? Because we're probably going to see these things either tank or go absolutely absurd. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. The Windminer K9 is the most profitable ASIC on the market as of right now. It's making $182 a day. Obviously, depending on the price of Kaspa, it's been down like the last couple days, right? It pumped up a ridiculous amount, and now it's down a little bit. But this was about $200 a day. But I mean, obviously, reflecting on the price, not really hurting it too much. The biggest thing about the Kaspa miners, I mean, these kind of taken the ASIC chart by storm. I'm wondering when it's going to stop. That's my biggest concern with Kaspa, to be honest. How many miners are they going to continue to capitalize on, and how much is the hash rate going to get to per miner? Because 10.3 terahashes is already a shit ton. And yeah, I don't know how crazy these machines are going to get, but I mean, regardless, we'll have to see. The KS3 9.4 terahash from Bitmain is $165 per day. That's what that's yielding. The Ice River KS3, which is 8 terahash, is getting $140 a day. We have the KS2, $34 a day. The KS1, $17 a day. Actually, my man DJ Mines dropped a video about the KS2. If you guys don't know him, he's in the live chat. Go check out his channel. He just got a KS2, and he's talking about if it's still worth purchasing or not. So definitely something, if you guys are interested in, you know, Kaspa, go check that out before you guys decide to purchase or just buy the coin or whatever. Jazzminer X16Q, this is over at Jingle Mining. Huge shout out to them. We have ETH and ZIL is the most profitable mining on that machine. It's working as a heater upstairs in my house. That's why I like to check this one out daily. It's $5.23 per day. I lied. What is that? Wait, why is there 2 Jazz miners? What is happening? What is happening? Odd. Am I missing something? They doubled that. All right, I don't know why that's like way down in the list. That's so strange. Anyways, the KS0 Pro. Hopefully, I'm getting this week. So I want to see. We're gonna check out the difference between this one and the original KS0, right? So the KS0 is 100 gigahashes, and you could like overclock it up to 160 if you got a batch 2, 3, or 4. The batch 1, like I have, could only take 120 gigahash firmware update, but this one's 200, and I want to see what the difference is between the two inside. It's probably not a, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be happy with it, but I'm definitely opening it. I don't care. I have to see what the hell's in it. And this is the original one, right? So the Kaspa Pro is making $3.59 per day, and the regular Kaspa KS0 is making $1.75 a day. So not too bad. And if you guys want to see any other like miners, please let me know, and I can always just go through this chart and look it up. I'm kind of glancing over the chat as we go. All right, let's get into this. So I want to start here with there's really not too much news today, so I'm just going to kind of skip that segment overall. We have AJ Wright again right here. I'm actually going to subscribe to him because I'm not subbed, but I want to I have his video in the description below. I want you guys to listen to this and kind of talk, like, just we'll talk about it in the chat. We can pause it, whatever. Kaspa's been doing great over the last couple days, right? Or last week or so, or month, or actually this entire bull run. Kaspa's just done absolutely phenomenal. So he kind of goes over a bunch of good points with Kaspa, and I think it's important for a lot of people to hear. And again, I'm not affiliated with Kaspa. I don't give a shit if it goes up or down. I just think it's worth it. You know, it's hard to find these coins that are gonna 2, 3, 4x from the points they're at now in the next, you know, cycle. Kaspa might be a good one to look at. So without further ado, let's jump into this. You guys have anything to ask, please just add me in the chat. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up everyone? My name is AJ Wrights Crypto, and today I want to take a dive into an altcoin that has pumped over 2,000% since the start of this year. And that coin is no other than Kaspa. Until the past few weeks, a lot of projects spent 2023 either trading sideways or in a macro downtrend. Alternatively, Kaspa has been a one-man bull market this whole time. Is it time for a reversal
It's really
now,
true,
or will
to be
Kaspa
honest.
continue to be the exception? This is the price prediction. Make sure you smash
You know
that
what? I
like
think we
button,
could jump forward
and let's
a
get
little
into
bit.
a Kaspa price prediction. Did you get the joke? Starting off,
gonna
obviously,
leave
this
it.
is the first price prediction I've officially made on my new channel. And to be honest, this might be the toughest price prediction I've ever had to make. All the coins I've covered in the past have had years and years of price action and historical data to go off of. With this one, I don't even have the last bull run to go off of. What I'm saying here is that since the day it launched, Kaspa has been in price discovery mode the entire time. It just hit another all-time high at 10 cents just last night.
Isn't that crazy? So this was on Friday when he actually recorded this. But I didn't watch it till this morning when I was kind of going through things. And really, Kaspa has been the only coin that's progressively done this like well in the bear market, right?
I'm filming this on Friday, so it might have even gone higher between now and Sunday when you're watching it. Although I know it will have to retest and go back to reality at some point, there's really no telling where this thing is going to slow down. So let's dive into what Kaspa is and why so many people are catching on to it. According to their website, Kaspa is the fastest and most scalable instant confirmation transaction layer ever built on a proof of work
Which most of us
engine.
know. It is super
Using
fast.
the Ghost DAG Phantom protocol, which is a generalization of the Bitcoin consensus, Kaspa is able to have high block rates while maintaining that level of security that proof of work offers. Here on the block DAG visualizer, you can see the block rate in action in real time. According to their website,
cool, actually.
Kaspa's block DAG can generate multiple blocks every second and can even combine fully formed transactions in 10 seconds, which is why it's great for everyday transactions. The goal is to one day get to 32 per second or maybe even 100. According to their Twitter bio, they're aiming to be the fastest and purest proof of work consensus engine. To be honest,
I mean, they're pretty close to there right now, man. They're like, if you've ever traded Kaspa or just like sent it anywhere, it's unbelievably fast. Like it really is. It's kind of mind blowing.
it's starting to feel like the team at Kaspa has great aim, because this coin has been the bullseye dream pick for traders so far this year. Not only that, since its inception, Kaspa has been an absolute dream for crypto miners, especially for those who jumped in early on. I have a friend back in Maryland who's been mining Kaspa for quite some time.
Actually, you know what? I want to know, how many of you guys in the chat mined Kaspa like way back when like Soap talked about it, right? I was one of those guys that didn't, because I just, you know what I mean? I wasn't chasing shit coins, but then it turned into, holy hell, this thing might actually have legs to stand on. And I obviously jumped on it when the ice reverse basically came out, right? And that's when we started seeing the crazy pump. But yeah, let me know in the chat. I want to know if you guys got into it early or not.
Time, and his weekly returns are ridiculous. For the tokenomics people out there, it's looking pretty good for us too. The chart on your screen right here is Kaspa's emission schedule. As you can see,
which is
in the
super
start,
unique, actually. The way Kaspa is mined and the emission schedule is set, it's very unique to Kaspa.
it was pretty aggressive, but in my opinion, the worst is over. If you don't know, Kaspa's total supply is 28.7 billion, and about 75% of its total supply is already in circulation. According to this Medium article,
crazy, right?
by January 1st, 2025, we can expect 87.4% of its supply to be in circulation.
Look at that. 2024, 76.3%, and in January 1st, 2025, 87.4%. That's crazy. Pretty much, it's going to be mined out way, like, during our lifetime, which is like another big plus. And then he also talks about exchanges shortly, which is a huge plus for Kaspa also.
So inflation will play a role, but it could be worse, trust me.
In my opinion.
If you want to understand Kaspa's tokenomics, you have to understand that it's a two-phase monetary policy. The pre-deflationary phase ended last May, and since then, Kaspa has been in the chromatic phase of its monetary policy. This is where the block time decreases geometrically over time based off the musical 12-note scale, the chromatic scale. If you don't know, I'm a pretty big music nerd, so I think it's awesome that they did it this way. The way it works is that the block rewards half once per year, but instead of it happening all at once, it happens gradually each month since there's 12 months in a year, like an octave and 12 notes or semitones on the chromatic scale. So with the mining, as time goes on, of course the block rewards will go down, but at least the supply will reach its max relatively fast. By July 10th, 2026, 95% of all CAS will be mined.
That's crazy.
Beyond having solid tokenomics, I know a lot of people are bullish on this project because they feel the world needs a real decentralized Ethereum. Before Ethereum switched over to proof of stake, 70% of the servers were hosted on centralized clouds. Even now that it's proof of stake, 35% of the nodes are hosted on AWS, and I understand why this frustrates so many people. With that said, I completely see the silver lining and why Kaspa is a better alternative. It's fast, secure, it's scalable, and it has Ethereum's gas fees beat by a long shot. Not only that, a future factor for Kaspa's price action is that it's yet to be listed on major exchanges like Binance or Coinbase. The biggest exchanges that it's on so far is BitGet, KuCoin, and MEXC. Side note, real fast.
Which is kind of a big deal, right? If you think about, you know, not being on major exchanges, typically by the time Binance and Coinbase get these coins, these lower coin or smaller coins rather, it you know, it basically stops growth when it hits those exchanges. Like people tend to get in just before that, and then once it hits them, you know, get the pump from all the Timmies, and then pretty much just kind of, you know, goes flat until bull and bear cycles, right? That's pretty much how it goes. But I don't know. I'm also concerned as to why Coinbase and Binance didn't take it. Does anybody else have that concern in the chat? Let me know.
If you want to start trading on my favorite crypto,
We don't.
I want you to think about Kaspa like Ethereum before it had real attention from institutional investors. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that this is the exact situation Kaspa is in. Sure,
And this is a good point that he's making here
price
too.
action has been unreal, but we got to remember, this thing is still in its infancy. In fact, Kaspa just had its second birthday a few days ago. But just because it's a baby doesn't mean I'm going to underestimate it. Kaspa is going to grow up and be a bully. So let's get into the price prediction. Okay, so remember, out of its 28.7 billion total supply, 21.4 billion CAS are already in circulation, which is about 75%, and that's great. But to do an accurate price prediction, we need to know how many coins will be in circulation by November of 2025. That date is significant because it's the projected top of the next bull run. Historically speaking, crypto market tops have all come a year and a half after the Bitcoin halving. And if this coming cycle sticks to the pattern, November 2025 is the deadline. If you remember this chart I showed you earlier in the video, we already have a pretty good idea how many Kaspa will be in circulation by November of 2025. Based off my calculations, 91.7% of the Kaspa supply will be in circulation by that point. That means that the heightened supply at that time will be in the ballpark of 26.3 billion coins. From the current supply, we will almost see a 22% increase in the supply between now and November of 25. For perspective, at the time of filming this video, CAS is exactly 9 cents. And if it had today's market cap with the heightened supply that it will have in November of 25, it would only be worth 7.5 cents. I wanted to show you that to illustrate how much inflation matters, and it does.
See, that was kind of an interesting little thing that he did. It'd only be worth 7.5 cents with the inflation.
Matter now. But once it gets to that destination supply, it will matter less and less. And of course, we have to take that into account for a realistic price prediction. So this is the problem with this prediction here, is that there's no dominance to go off of. There's no major partnerships. There's no major exchange listings. And the current market cap sits right around $2 billion. There's a lot of variables here that are unknowns, so I'm going to stick to the math. For Kaspa to get to $1 with the heightened supply, it would need a $26.3 billion market cap.
Now, what's the market cap at now, actually? Let me look. Let's look real quick. Their market cap, let's see. Oh, God, why did that just change to white screen? Apologize. Market cap is 1 billion, right? Almost 2 billion. What did he say it has to be? Where are we at? What did he say it has to be? Let me scroll back just a second.
It would need a $26.3 billion
We're almost
market
at 2
cap.
right now.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Kaspa made it that far. It might seem like too much too fast, but like I said, this project is still in its infancy. And it's wild how supportive the community is regardless of the lack of institutional interest. As much as I like to be realistic, and I want to just say 70 cents, I really don't see a scenario where Kaspa doesn't at least get to $1 by November of 25.
Now, what do you guys think about that? By November 25, Kaspa potentially getting to $1. The way he does the math is kind of interesting. And I honestly don't see it out of the realm of possibilities, but it's a lot. It's a
bullish
lot.
narrative, let's say it does land those Binance and Coinbase listings. Let's say that it does get that institutional interest and more people see the silver lining of it being a more decentralized alternative to Ethereum.
See, that's the big thing right there. When it gets institutional eyes, when that stuff happens, when that gets on it, and then the big exchanges start picking it up, that's when you're gonna, like, right before the exchanges list them, or right when they list them, that's when you're gonna see this coin get pushed again. And I mean, how far it goes, who knows? I mean, the utility of Kaspa is great. It's so fast. It really is super fast. And I guess they're working on some sort of layer 2 as well, if I'm not mistaken.
In that case, I could easily see Kaspa getting up to the $75 billion market cap, and that would land us with a price target around $2.85, a 32x from right here.
Do you think I could get to that, though? That's a lot. $75 billion market cap, that's a real lot. I mean, you know, Kaspa's done, again, great things. It's what, top 30? It's in the top 100. It's like 34th or something on the top 100 coins, which is freaking crazy impressive for a bear market.
At the end of the day, my price prediction for Kaspa at the top of the next bull run is between $1 and $2.85. Boom.
$1 and $2.85. Shout out to AJ Wright. Again, guys, go check him out. I put a link in the description below. I don't actually talk to him on a personal level, but he is a very smart guy, and to be honest, I see good things with Kaspa personally, so I just wanted to make people know, or let you guys know, that that's, you know, it might be a good coin to look into. Again, not financial advice. Nothing is. It's just all my perspective, things I think it's a good idea for you guys to check into. Charles said, let me see. So he was asking about his bank actually in the chat real quick. He said, anyone else who can help? Anyone have experience with Coin Mining Central or Crypto Miner Bros? I have just had a bank account frozen trying to make a purchase with Coin Mining Central. Personally, I've never used Coin Mining Central, but I would bet money on it being your bank, because they do not like crypto. And banks hate crypto, like just in general. So if it has anything to do with it, it's probably going to shut it down, right? It's probably going to stop your account from sending anything, thinking it's a scam. Which you know, I get it. So you're probably gonna have to call your bank. But personally, I've never used Coin Mining Central. I know Crypto Miner Bros is legit, but you guys can let us know in the chat if anybody's used Coin Mining Central. All right. The crypto market is about to get out of control. Here's why. Let's check out Altcoin Daily's video with Mr. Anthony Pomp on Fox Business. Let's do it.
Right now, in the last 3 months, 88% of all Bitcoin in circulation has not moved. In the last year, more than 70% of Bitcoin has not moved. They're going to approve this ETF. We're going to return to loose monetary policy. We're going to get the halving next year, and this thing is going to fly just like it did back in 2021.
The cryptocurrency market is about to get out of control. But most people are missing one thing. See,
oh, and you know what? Real quick, Mr. Luke in the chat. Shout out to him. Hold on, real quick. This is what the hell. All right, I don't know why that changed on me, but Flux. I noticed that last night too. Flux had a pump. It's at 44 cents now. It was at like 33 yesterday. That's pretty good. Up 10 or 11 cents. All right, back to it. Sorry.
Altcoins are flying. Solana, Chainlink, Kaspa, Alluvium, Avalanche.
What the hell's Alluvium?
People who,
you know what? I was listening to this and I scrolled back and I was like, what is that? What is that?
See,
Alluvium?
altcoins are flying. Solana, Chainlink, Kaspa, Alluvium.
Alluvium. What, has anybody heard of that? Alluvium? I thought he said Lithium, and I had to rewind like 3 times to listen to it again.
Avalanche. And people who subscribe to us have been doing really well. See, everybody wants to find altcoin gems right now.
37.
They should have been looking for the past 6 months. We were making top altcoin videos for you, showing you the different projects when all of these prices were low. I was buying altcoins and showing you altcoins when everybody just wanted to talk Bitcoin. It's the same every bear market. Guys, the altcoins I've talked about for the past 6 months, all of these videos are still good. Watch them. You won't be able to get in at rock bottom prices, but nobody gets in at the very lowest price. And this crypto bull cycle is just getting started. So much.
Mr. Nerdbeast says Alluvium is a gaming coin. It's been around for a while. Okay, interesting. Didn't know that.
Much is coming. If you subscribe to us now, you'll have a major advantage still. Of course, expect volatility. There will be pullbacks, of course. And you know what? Those pullbacks might be very good buying opportunities. The volatility is the opportunity.
I love the volatility. I want more volatility. And the reason is because volatility over a long period of time actually leads to outsized returns. If you want asymmetry, which has largely been kind of arbed out of the market in most other assets, there's no volatility in these other assets. There's no outperformance in these other assets. Bitcoin allows for investors to allocate capital to an investment that they can audit at any time, that they can put billions of dollars into, and it can drive asymmetric returns.
The fact is this. The BlackRock Ethereum ETF news, and of course combined with the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF news, is huge. BlackRock wouldn't do this with Ethereum if they weren't damn sure that their Bitcoin ETF is getting approved soon. And now, because Larry Fink did this, now mainstream media is advertising Ethereum on TV. What Pomp says at the end of this clip makes me really excited.
Well, watch how excited this Fox Business News host gets over Pomp. she really wants him in like a bad way.
World's largest asset manager is doubling down on crypto. Filings now show BlackRock is taking its first steps to launch a spot Ethereum ETF. According to Delaware's Division of Corporations website, the firm has submitted an iShares Ethereum trust for regulatory approval. So let's look.
You know what, real quick in the chat, throw in there, what do you think after Bitcoin and Ethereum? Like realistically, what could the next ETF be if BlackRock's going to jump all over all of these crypto coins? Let me know.
Look at Ethereum. So yesterday, the token you can see right here spiked. It is up over 10% since just 2 days ago. Bitcoin also got a boost on the Ethereum news because BlackRock obviously is very powerful. It is also one of the 12 applicants waiting on the SEC to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF.
Which is most likely going to come by the end of the year, hopefully. I think it's going to be before 2024, but I guess we'll have to see. A lot of you guys are saying Solana. That's very interesting, actually. And you know what? That's a very good point. I would probably agree with that, actually.
Here in a Fox Business exclusive is Pomp Investments investor Anthony Pompliano, who also served as a sergeant in the U.S. Army Infantry. Thank you every day for your service, Pomp. But Ethereum,
right,
and here comes Larry Fink, the iShares team, and BlackRock saying, all right, as we wait for the Bitcoin spot ETF to be approved, we're going in on Ether. What did you think of that news?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. When you're contrarian, in order to get financial returns, the contrarian bet has to become a consensus bet. And that's what we're watching play out right here, is for years, we have seen investors, mainly retail, go and bet on assets that were outside of the legacy financial system. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing BlackRock and many other large financial organizations say, we don't want to be left behind. We want to play this game as well. Mm-hmm. And so as they show up and they start to incorporate these assets into their funds and other types of investment offerings, you're going to see that contrarian bet become consensus, capital will flow in, and prices will go up.
Do you think there's enough interest in Ether, per se?
I think that people are drastically underestimating how big the entire crypto market is going to get. Bitcoin will remain the king of that market, but many of these assets are going to get much, much bigger and will be measured, I believe, in tens of trillions of dollars across the entire crypto market.
And what's interesting is an Ethereum ETF might even be more compelling to investors than a Bitcoin ETF. See, I interviewed crypto expert Lark Davis all about this just a few weeks ago. Listen.
What's interesting is that
Real quick, Jim C says, didn't Pomp think BTC was going to 1K? Probably at some point. I don't know, though. Actually, you know what? Jim C made a couple good points. He said, I remember when Ethereum was $78 and everyone doubted it going to 200. I have the same feeling about Kaspa. And you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. A lot of people did doubt Ethereum for quite some time. And just before the last bull run, I think it was like, what was Ethereum? I think it was at like $200 or $300 when I first started mining it, and then at the height of the bull run it went up to like $4,500. It was absolutely absurd how much money came into that. And then Jim C also said he thinks BlackRock's going to do a top 10 or 20 combined ETF, which is, you know what, I absolutely agree with that as well. I think it'll be after the Bitcoin and Ethereum. If not Solana, it's probably going to be a combined top 10, and I think that's more realistic versus Solana at this point, to be honest.
That an Ethereum ETF could even be more compelling for a lot of investors than a Bitcoin ETF, because the Bitcoin ETF is like holding a gold ETF, which is cool. An Ethereum ETF is like, exactly, it's more like holding Apple stock or something like that, because you get that dividend payment and massive exposure to massive innovation right across the crypto space. If you're bullish on layer 2s, if you're bullish on NFTs, if you're bullish on stablecoin payments, if you're bullish on crypto gaming, if you're bullish on any of that stuff, you buy an Ethereum ETF because that's going to give you exposure to all of it, plus a dividend yield.
Think about this.
Nerd Beast made a good point too. He said, as much as we all hate ETH, it will continue to go up and institutions will be interested on it, or in it rather.
Investors would definitely 100% prefer a spot Ethereum ETF over a spot Bitcoin ETF if they're interested in the potential for the biggest returns this cycle. Because
you know what? That's a good point too. What would you rather get in on as an institutional investor, Ethereum or Bitcoin? It's easier to buy more coins if you don't have as much money as like the real big guys, right? That could just buy a shit ton of Bitcoin. That's actually a really good point that Mr. Austin actually just made.
Think about it. If you put $10,000 in Bitcoin right now and $10,000 in Ethereum right now, Bitcoin ETF gets
That's
approved,
literally what I
and
was
the
thinking.
Ethereum ETF gets approved. Which one is going to pump harder this cycle?
But
That's
I
so
just
true.
think that you have to look at the reality that Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin on a total percentage basis. So if you were to invest $10,000 in Bitcoin and $10,000 into Ethereum, the Ethereum, I believe, will give you higher gains by the end of the cycle. Now, how much higher gains? It's probably not going to be super significant. It's not like Ethereum is going to 50x and Bitcoin's only going to 5x. It's more like Bitcoin will 5x and Ethereum will 7x, something like that. So we'll outperform, but it's not going to be super dramatic outperformance. So that's something I need to highlight here. But there's so many things working in the favor of Ethereum outperformance. Bitcoin's got the Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin has the halving, all very exciting. Ethereum has ultrasound money, massive deflation, huge amounts of Ethereum being locked up in the staking contract. It's like 28 million coins right now. It's an over 2-year wait to get out of the staking contract. So that's a massive supply lock.
Control.
Demand rising.
That's what I got out of that. They can't unstake Ethereum whenever they want. That is control. And that's what they want, pretty much. These big institution guys, for whatever reason, love centralization. NerdBeast actually said it the best in the chat.
Time for Ethereum layer 2 networks, which is sucking more ETH off of exchanges.
Very
Ethereum exchange balances at a 5-year low, down well over 50% in the last couple of years, down to about 14 million coins. So there's now twice as many coins in the staking contract, which are locked up for like, a long time to get out of that execute versus what's on exchanges. So Ethereum's got the moon math behind it, without a doubt, plus more use cases, obviously.
The moon math.
So over the next couple months, I'm going to continue to highlight for you altcoin projects that have continued to build and scale out during the Bitcoin bear, because these are the projects that should not only fare well during this crypto bull, but most likely fare well for the next couple years, because these are the projects with actual utility, things going on. I mean, over the past 6 months, we've been turning you on to projects like Chainlink. Now it's being recognized by so many. And in addition to that, you realize that Ethereum this cycle is going to be unlike Ethereum from any other cycle. The BlackRock ETF is huge. Proof of stake, everything that Ethereum has updated and advanced its protocol in the past.
There is a lot of different things about Ethereum now, because Ethereum was mineable in the last bull run. So I really do wonder if it's going to be more bullish now that it is, stakeable or proof of stake. And again, they can control it. If they can control Vitalik, they can control the staking of the Ethereum. Do you know what I mean?
Year, last cycle, Ethereum was not fully proof of stake yet. This cycle it is. The point is, Ethereum on its base layer, as it gains popularity like it's never have before, it's going to have high fees again. And that means Ethereum L2 narratives will be strong. Alternative Ethereum narratives will be strong. People will be looking for alternative Ethereums or scaling solutions. And the point is, altcoins are going to pump hard this cycle as well. The point we're at in this cycle right now, if we took it back a cycle, this time last cycle, the fact is coins like Solana weren't even around yet. So the biggest gainers potentially aren't even around yet, and we're going to keep tabs on that and show you that too. So subscribe.
And the not even around yet coins, again, honestly, I think Kaspa is that, wasn't even around yet type of coin that you should, we look back and we look at like, say Dogecoin, right? When Dogecoin was like total crap, and then it all of a sudden gets to a penny, and then it gets to 70 cents or whatever it got to. It made so many millionaires. It's absurd. I think, there's certain coins that you want to grab before the bull run happens. And, we've already seen the price prediction for Mr. AJ on Kaspa, and it's it's one of those things. If you guys missed that, go back, and if you guys don't mind, please hit that like button. Appreciate you. 31 likes. We have 116 people here. You guys are awesome. All right, so this right here, I skipped a little bit. We're gonna jump over this. So we actually watched the other day this. He made like a separate video with Ethereum price go to 2024. It was like 25K his price prediction. He said 10K is not out of the realm of possibilities, but he has 25 in the back of his brain. We're gonna skip over that, but there's a few things in here I do want to hear, so let's just dive right into it. If you guys have any questions, please at me in the chat.
Now, I think everybody's front running the Bitcoin spot ETF news. I really do think it's as simple as that.
That's true.
Because if you even look at the 4-year cycle that many people believe in, we're kind of rallying a bit too early, right? So I do think that this is coming off of a fundamental catalyst of the belief that we're going to see that approval by the end of the year, maybe by January 10th at the latest. I have no inside information beyond the people that I talk to and what I hear, but I talk to Eric Balchunas and James Seyfert pretty regularly from Bloomberg. They're the two experts. They've put themselves on the line here and said 90% chance of approval by January. I tend to believe them. I think there's a lot of pressure, obviously, on Gensler to get this done. I think he would face a lot of lawsuits if they don't find a way to do it. So I think people are really just front running that news. And now that Bitcoin is rising to these higher levels, we're starting to see that old bull market cycle where the money flows into altcoins and you start to see these massive pumps there. Because interestingly, we didn't see that at all, even as Bitcoin ascended from 19 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30. It really took making that yearly high and pushing up here 35, 36, 37 to see these massive altcoin runs. So it feels right now like the bull markets of old, where you get sort of the cycles and the money flowing from one thing to the next. I'm enjoying it. I don't know that it'll last forever. It never does. So I think that this is just a great time to be in the market.
So, and if markets sort of inflict max pain in the short-term sense, and pullbacks are a part of any bull market or any bear market, now that everybody is bullish, is it time to take profits?
It's always time to take profits, at least a little bit. I think people think.
And you know what, actually, so that's actually a good conversation to talk about. Solana, right? We've seen Solana pump from what, 19 bucks or whatever it was to like, it's at like $54 now. The faster things rise, you know, they fall just as fast. So things can't go parabolic forever, right? And that's kind of my also fear with Kaspa, where I'm like, oh, we just seen 10 cents. Like, man, should I sell a little bit of it? Because we're probably going to have a pullback, but it depends if you have diamond hands, right? Are you going to hold super long, or are you going to sell and take profits and just buy more when it goes down? It's one of those things you'll never be able to predict the top or the bottom, but you got to kind of don't be greedy. Don't let your greed take over, because that's usually what happens. That's usually when people lose out.
Too binary: bull, bear, buy, sell, buy all at once, sell all at once. I think if you've been here for a while, the minute you start feeling FOMO, sell 20% of that position, right? Don't take the whole thing off. It takes more pressure off you emotionally when the position gets smaller. Even if it rises, I know you'll feel like you could have sold the top or bought the bottom, but nobody can expect to do that. So I do think, especially coming into 38,000 for Bitcoin, it's a reasonable place to take some off the table, wait and see what happens. I mean, it's a really critical level. Think about what 38,000 means, right? First of all, everything's overbought. We're up over 2x from the bottom, but this is literally where Bitcoin was sitting before Luna collapsed last year, right? So a move above 3840, this area, is basically erasing the entire contagion of the 2022 bear market, saying that Bitcoin has recovered. It's recovered from Luna, Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, FTX, name every other platform. It's a level that a lot of people were sitting at before it dumped. A lot of people looking to take profit, and a big statement, I think, to get above it. So I'm not surprised. But again, what I find interesting is now that we're at these levels, you're seeing these altcoin moves. I think there's a lot more confidence in the market in general. But you talk about a flush out or a drop, you always get these 20, 30% drops even in a bull market, right? But what did we see literally on November 9th? We saw Bitcoin hit 38, immediately drop to the mid 35s or 36s. But altcoins, some of them literally dropped 20 or 30%. But it happened in a matter of minutes, and then they bounced. If you want,
and then there's Kaspa that just completely, you know, goes parabolic during that whole time. Everything's going down. Mr. Fully Electric said, I sold 8K in Kaspa and bought another KS3M. Jeez, dude, that's crazy. So that's a good conversation to get into. But like we talked about it on Saturday Night Live. If you guys didn't see it, go check it out. Live stream we did 2 days ago. Like, does it make more sense to just purchase the Kaspa or purchase more miners? I mean, you took profits and actually, you know, use your profits to purchase a miner, so I get that. But Would it have been smarter just to hold it and repurchase the Kaspa when it drops down, or if it drops down, or is that too much of a risk for you? Let me know in the chat what you think about it.
A real indication that you're in a bull market, it's how fast those retracements happen. You literally got your 30% dump on some of these coins that a day later are trading higher than when it even happened. Just really astounding price action. You've got to be there with your bids already waiting if you're looking for those corrections, because they can happen now in a matter of minutes.
In a lot of ways,
that KS3M will refund 8K in a week, says Crypto KJ. Real quick, I want to, you know what, we'll listen to this, I guess, this little clip here, and then I'm gonna jump over. Oh yeah, you know what? No, this is it. This is the SEC thing. So I want you guys to hear this, what he says about Gary Gensler.
Bitcoin is inevitable. The adoption is happening. It's in a different league. But at the same time, Ethereum is nipping at its heels. In the last week, BlackRock has officially filed for a spot Ethereum ETF. This is sort of institutional adoption that crypto holders have like just dreamed of. We've only talked about the last multiple years. Does this change your outlook for ETH, meaning make you more bullish?
It does change my outlook for ETH. Listen, we've already had Ethereum spot ETF applications filed, but it's different when it's BlackRock for a few reasons.
Very different.
Number one is that Larry Fink has been on a roadshow talking about crypto as a flight to quality. And the Bitcoin maximalists screamed and yelled that he was only saying crypto because he legally couldn't say Bitcoin. The SEC would come down on him if he was talking his own book.
That's a good point, actually, because he legally can't say Bitcoin. Because crypto as a whole, like, you can't really get mad at him for saying that, right? That's kind of crazy to think about, actually. And you know what's funny? Larry Fink was one of those guys 2-3 years ago that was like, no, I don't think any of my institutional investors want to even hear about Bitcoin or crypto or just anything along those lines. And then, you know, 2 years later, 3 years later, he's like, oh, let's start these ETFs and take all the money. Because don't, like, you know, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but guys, don't think that BlackRock isn't smarter than they lead on to be. They're just trying to capitalize on all of us, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's also a good thing for crypto at the same time.
It's completely dispelled. We now know the truth, which is that Larry Fink is in fact bullish on all crypto. And when he says crypto is a flight to quality, he means it. If
he's bullish on money, getting money, that would be my opinion. But, you know, not as much as bullish on crypto. He just sees an opportunity and he's going to take it.
Paying attention before, you already knew that, because in his annual investor letter last March, he wrote extensively on the tokenization of assets, on these other crypto assets beyond just the Bitcoin spot ETF that they had filed for. So when it comes from BlackRock, you can say that Larry Fink is one of the top 5 probably most powerful people literally on the entire planet. People joke that there's 4 branches of the government: the executive, judicial, legislative, and BlackRock. I would say that there's just BlackRock and maybe the other 3 are subsidiaries, right? I don't think people understand just how impactful BlackRock is and just how powerful his words are. So as for Ethereum, I've been really beating the Ethereum drum over the past month or so. Throughout the cycle, I've always kind of been an Ethereum bull, but I've written 3 newsletters on it in the last 2 months saying that this is irrational FUD. It's way beaten down. People aren't looking at it. It will have its moment in the cycle. Last week, I literally wrote a newsletter called The Most Hated Asset. And I made the case that Ethereum right now was more hated than even Hex and Doge and XRP and all of these others. And then maybe 2 minutes before we got the Ethereum spot news, I wrote a bunch of Twitter posts saying, hey, this is only the 4th time in history that Ethereum versus Bitcoin has been oversold on RSI.
Which is pretty interesting.
Just basically making the case very clearly that I thought Ethereum was going to have its moment. I didn't think it would have its moment 10 minutes later. You know, that was complete luck. But I do think that this now is extremely bullish for Ethereum. And if you follow that logic, it just takes you further with time down the risk curve to what BlackRock will do. I mean, BlackRock, they're the kings of indexing, right? I mean, that's literally what they do. They create ETFs, they create indexes. Would you be surprised if we get a Bitcoin spot ETF, 6 months to a year later, you get an Ethereum spot ETF, then you get a top 10 crypto index ETF. And then one day when we're in a bull market, you get a DeFi ETF. I'm not saying these things will happen, but if BlackRock's making money, they're going to continue filing for these products, and so will everybody else.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities. They just want money. They want to bring in as much money as possible, and they see the opportunity. And why wouldn't you do it?
Yet an Ethereum spot ETF cannot happen without the SEC, Gary Gensler's approval. You've been very vocal Fire Gary.
Yeah, so listen to this shit about Gary Gensler and how he actually has been, realistically, I didn't think about it like this, but he's 100% manipulating prices of coins. And I just didn't think of it like that, but it makes total sense.
Gensler. Why?
I think that no individual has done more damage to retail investors than Gary Gensler, and his very mandate is to protect them, right? We all know
It's
he didn't
crazy.
protect anyone from FTX, Voyager, BlockFi, any of these, right? So you can give him a pass on that. You can say he didn't know. You can say some of them were foreign entities, but he was working directly with Sam Bankman-Fried to work on legislation and regulation. So listen, I mean, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. I think he was embarrassed by FTX and has now gone scorched earth in the other direction to basically compensate for that. We also all know
to cover it up so he doesn't get in trouble himself.
At this point that, you know, he was a plant from Elizabeth Warren, and she has people in the White House, and she happens to be the most powerful person in legislation, in finance, in the Senate, right? She's basically the one who's giving the directives. And so he's going to keep doing what he's doing until it becomes so politically unpopular that she tells him not to. And we all know that she's still raising the anti-crypto army, pushing for, you know, the false narrative of Hamas terrorist funding, all of these things. So
sucks.
I think if you look at it rationally, GBTC has been an inferior product for years. It had a 50% discount. That was the only way that your average retail investor could gain exposure. The Bitcoin futures ETF was the most popular ETF in history ever launched, the fastest to $1 billion. I think it was less than 48 hours. There's a thirst for these things. That futures ETF was so popular that they couldn't actually buy 1 month contracts to fill it. They had to go out to 2, 3, 4 months, which means it's not tracking the underlying asset. It's not tracking the actual price of spot, and has underperformed spot. So the best way to protect investors, obviously, is to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. Fees go close to zero, and people get a safe way. I think you should self-custody your Bitcoin, but people get a safe way to gain exposure to this asset. Now, we
can talk about that at the end of this.
Another example that I've been talking about a lot lately. Just yesterday, Gary Gensler said he thinks it's a perfectly fine idea to relaunch FTX.
Which is effed up.
Fine. Take that at face value. But what did that do to the market? Okay. I'm not even going to argue how absurd the notion of him saying that is, but it sent FTT up over 100%. It's up a couple 100% in a matter of days, effectively, on that news.
Literally, look at this. Like, look at the price of FTX over the past week. The FTT token is up 193% since that boob Gensler actually said that they could relaunch their exchange as long as they follow the rules and guidelines, which is fucking horse shit. Like, no, get rid of it.
What happened when they filed their cases against Coinbase and Binance? They passively, without ever attacking the projects directly, just named a whole bunch of assets as unregistered securities, right? I think the list got up to like 55 of them or something, just passively named in these suits. So what did you see at that time? Matic, Cardano, all these had been listed. They went down 50, 60, 70%. American investors are holding those assets. The very cop on the beat who's supposed to be protecting them is pumping and dumping these coins in price massively with his words. He's literally doing the dead opposite of what his mandate is as the chairman of the SEC. So listen.
How messed up is that to think about? He's literally doing the opposite of what he's actually, put as the chair to do. He's supposed to protect you guys, and he's literally just pumping and dumping coins at his own free will, which is messed up. I don't understand how he's not going to get in trouble for it. It's crazy.
Even if you don't want to fire the guy, I actually believe that the proposal that Warren Davidson has to make it a committee so the chairman has a bit less power and it's measured and they vote and they come to a consensus and decide on these things would make a lot more sense. Hester Peirce is very reasonable. She's been leading the charge from the other side of the SEC. Sadly, the SEC historically, I think, has been an agency that has done a great job to protect investors. It's just that this SEC is activist and taking this, regulation by enforcement approach. And even the rest of the SEC doesn't want him to do it. So I think it's very clear there are a number of reasons that he needs to go. The good news is eventually he will.
Let's say top of next cycle, Bitcoin hits over $120,000. That would be outrageously great. Some people say more, some people say less, but this question's just for fun, but your best projections, where does...
Oh, we already talked about this, actually. All right, let's see. Now, Solana, I want to get into this a little bit, just see what they got to say here.
But you're most bullish on alternative L1s. Specifically, you love the Solana ecosystem. Why Solana over Cardano, for example? Like, define it for me.
Well, that's hard to define. To be quite honest, I interviewed Raoul Paul and he got me so excited about Solana that my brain felt like it was going to explode. And I was trying, but I didn't buy, right? But, and so like I was trying not to FOMO, but, and then, you know, Rand Nooner obviously is my partner on Crypto Town Hall. He came on live from Solana Breakpoint. There's 3,500 people here. They're not retail, they're developers. This is really building. There's true interest. You know, there's AUM flowing in. I just think that, even if none of that's true, narrative drives everything in crypto. So if that narrative even exists, then that's probably enough to continue sending it up. But
that's true.
You know, speaking to Raul and then doing a bit of due diligence on Fire Dancer and what's happening there, if the promise of what they say they can do actually comes to fruition, I know that's in testnet now, but if they can do millions of transactions per second, then it really is a game changer, especially if they can actually do that in a secure manner without downtime, because we all know
millions of transactions per second. That's wild. And yeah, if they can do it without downtime, which they've had very hard time doing
their history. So
past, yeah.
Listen, I view all of this as speculative ideas, to be quite honest, right? My view on crypto has always been there's Bitcoin and everything else is like a speculative VC investment, but that's fine, right? It's totally, that's fine. They're just not trying to compete with Bitcoin. So get over it, you know? And that's always been my view. But if they can do that, I think that they can capture a ton of the market. You know, I've had Anatoly Solana on a number of times, and I flat out asked him probably a year ago, I said, you know, are we going to live in a multi-chain world, interoperability, these narratives, or can we go full Lord of the Rings and have one chain to rule them all? And he was like, oh, we can do it all, like flat out. And I didn't know if that was hubris or ego, or he knew what was coming with Fire Dancer, but he's the first founder or like developer that I've heard flat out make the claim that what he's doing could dominate it all. So talking about Cardano, I don't have a feeling on Cardano at all. I don't know that that's going to piss people off. You know, we all get
Cardano is one of those coins that I've just never been into. Has anybody feel the same? Like, has anybody like not been into it here, or you guys all hold a small bag of it? Because to be honest, yeah, I've never been interested in it. I don't know why.
Attacked by their army, but I buy into the idea that they're trying to do it the right way. I've spoken to them. I've spoken to Charles. I think he's brilliant. I buy into the idea that they're taking their time to do it right, but that makes me fear that it's going to be even more, you know, we've been hearing that for cycles. So I think it's one of those things in this space, just show me, you know, like when I see a killer app come out on Cardano with meaningful traction, I think that will be really, really exciting.
That's a good point.
And listen, I'm still bullish on the idea of L2s as well. I think that Coinbase with Base, I think that's really compelling. We've seen, listen, I don't really care about Friend Tech per se, and I certainly wasn't trading Bald, which was locked on there or whatever had happened. But I think having a company like Coinbase disrupting themselves with a decentralized technology and doing it without a token, I think that's a roadmap for things that other companies could do. We know Kraken is now looking to do something like that. Man, I think we're just at the point now, it's interesting. In previous cycles, I think there wasn't enough block space, there wasn't enough speed, there wasn't enough of any of it for any of these wild, outlandish ideas that we had. Now it's like, it's all built and the house is empty, right? It's like San Francisco commercial real estate right now in crypto. So now we need somebody to actually build a killer app that the people want to use, right? So now I think it can all probably scale for mainstream adoption for the first time. Now we need mainstream adoption, right? We need people to actually care and use it.
And as
yeah, speaking of mainstream adoption, we're gonna be wrapping things up there. But yeah, so just kind of getting into the you know, talking about BlackRock and what their bigger plan is here. I honestly think that, again, they're just seeing an opportunity where they can just get money, right? That's what they want. They're an institution, big at, like, they own the world. Let's put it that way. Biggest institutional investor is going to go through BlackRock, and it's an opportunity where they can just, you know, seize the moment. And that's what's going to happen here with the Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETFs. I personally do think that they'll probably get approved before the end of the year. If not, they'll definitely get approved on the deadline, which is the 11th of January, if I'm not mistaken. But the only like downside to this, right, for like as a crypto miner or holder or whatever, now BlackRock's going to come in. They've already invested into 4 out of the top 5 crypto mining facilities. I think, I don't know if it's in the US or if it's just like worldwide, but top 5, right? I'm pretty sure it's worldwide actually. But they are going to be trying to control the hash rate on top of the actual coins themselves, right? So when it comes to, you know, nobody owns Bitcoin. Satoshi's a ghost figure that, you know, the SEC can't just go attack, right? Like they could control Vitalik to control Ethereum at the end of the day, but Bitcoin is a little different, right? It's still mineable, unlike Ethereum. It has nobody that owns it, again, unlike Ethereum. And them being able to control it by owning mining facilities and also offering the spot ETF, which means they're going to hold all of the Bitcoin and you're going to own a piece of paper that says, I owe you, bro. You know what I mean? And that's it. So there's pros and cons to this entire thing. I think it's overall bullish for the Bitcoin and crypto and, you know, mass adoption and things along those lines. But is it the right decision to actually go through BlackRock to get your Bitcoin? I disagree. I don't think you should do that. I think you should personally just go to Coinbase, buy your own crypto if that's what you want to do, or get a machine and mine it yourself. That's just personally what I think. Astrostar, to be honest, I am so out of touch with Ergo. I couldn't even start talking about it. I don't even know what they're doing, to be honest. Since the whole like thing where their network just kind of went to shit, I stopped following it. I sold all mine and I just got out, to be honest. So yeah, I can't really talk too much about it, but I mean, it's not a bad project. The guys over there are great, but it's just, I just kind of pushed it aside. You know what I mean? Let's see. We are miners first and foremost. Yes, we are, Mr. Andrew Masad. We are. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat. Feel free to throw them in there. It's so weird not having music on, so I apologize about that. But if you guys would like music, let me know. We can always do that tomorrow. Let's see. Backwards miner, I hate the idea of low power mode. Do you really? You hate the idea of low power mode, Andrew Masad? Well, actually, you know what? Speaking of low power, right? Or speaking of power in general, my freaking electric rate's going up another 5 cents, I think, the end of next month. It's going to be like almost 30 cents I'm paying here, which sucks. So I got to like figure out something, see if there's a way to shop a lower rate or whatever. How long ago did you talk about $1 Kaspa? So we talked about it. I think it was within the first like 10 minutes or so. So if you scroll back, you'll be able to see that. So what is it? AJ Wright, I believe is his name. He actually has his own channel now, or started a new channel where he actually ripped apart Kaspa and kind of went over the fundamentals around it, and then what his price prediction is off of what's been going on, right? Like what the market cap could be if it, I don't know, in the bull run, whatever. So just, yeah, go check it out. It's a really neat video. I do have a full link in the description below, so I'm not gonna rip him off like that. But yeah, go subscribe to him, check out his channel. It's I have no affiliation with him, but it was a good video nonetheless. And he's a smart guy. Let's see, balls to the wall or nothing, says Andrew Masad. I would love that. So like, it's, you know what? It sucks. It sucks. These electrical companies are controlling everything around where I am when it comes to mining, which sucks. So it's like, you can either figure out solar or you figure out a more efficient way to mine. And there's only so many ways you can mine. It's like, you either send your stuff to get hosted, or you got to shop electric rates, get solar. You got to do something, right? So kind of tough. Overboard Tech, rigs are probably still upside down anyways, more efficient that way. Yeah. Well, I don't want to talk about that. God damn it. Love getting hosted, said DJ Mines. Nice. Yeah, it's hosting is a good, it can be good and bad, right? So the suck factor for me is I'm a hoarder, closet hoarder, right? At the end of the day, it sucks to like give your stuff to somebody else. So that's one of the things I hate about it. The other thing is just like maintenance, right? Like you have to trust somebody else to do maintenance on your stuff, which is tough. But also like there's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to certain companies, right? I'm not going to name certain companies, but sending your stuff to people you can't trust, like you got to have a level of trust here, right? Like personally, the reason I sent my stuff to Terra is because I know the guys. Like I know them personally. They're all good friends of mine, and you know what? I'd rather pay a couple extra cents to have my friends hold my stuff than Joe Schmo across seas that if something happens, I'll never see my stuff again. That's kind of my take on that. You know what I mean? I have 40 solar panels, pays for maybe 2 rigs. Yeah, it's Jim C. And that's the other thing too, right? Like solar sounds great. Fantastic idea, but it sucks for crypto mining because it's not made for 24/7. It's really not. And that's the unfortunate part about it. Let's see. Only reason I host with Terry, yeah, 100 Air. I mean, that's exactly why I host with them, to be honest. Just because I know them all. And it's not, you know, it's not, I don't need to pay, I don't know, 2-3 months of, you know, electricity up front. Like it's you pay month by month. You send their stuff, they plug it in, get access to all your rigs remotely, and then whatever. But I'm not here to shill anybody. It's just don't trust people with your shit. That's the biggest thing here, right? So you have to have some sort of level of trust when it comes to hosting. But man, it just sucks. It sucks. I trust no one. That's why I rather pay the electric. And Steven Cicero, like, I agree too, right? So to you know, I've been debating on sending my L7 to be hosted, right? It sucks because the L7 last year straight up heated my entire house for the most part, like maybe a little supplemental heat with the HVAC system, but I literally cut a duct into my furnace. I piped the L7 right into it, and it just fed my whole house, right? But looking at the math of it this year, I would be spending roughly $600 a month and maybe yielding half of that when it comes to Litecoin and Dogecoin, because the Litecoin halving, the market down, it's not even close to where it was last year. And last year it was pretty close to breaking even. You know what I mean? So I'd be paying double the amount and putting miles, you know, the way the terminology I use is putting miles in your car when you don't need to. That's kind of how I feel about miners. Like, it sucks to do that to my equipment when it's not profitable, but at the same time, I feel like I'm just wasting away, because at some point this unit's going to be insignificant. There's going to be, you know, companies like, say, Locotech or any other company that comes out more efficient units that are going to be higher hash rate. And I just don't want this thing to turn into an S9. You know what I mean? Just sitting on my desk or whatever on the floor, just not using it, you know? You will still be paying to heat with tech HVAC. You'll still, yes. So, all right. So the math when it comes to that, right? Again, $600 a month to run the L7 into the furnace, heat my house, right? Be great. I still might need some supplemental heat depending on how cold it is outside, because the L7s only get so hot. But the thing is the propane, right? So I have propane. I have a 500-gallon tank outside where they come and they just automatically fill it up when it gets low. So typically it's around $900 to $1,000 to fill it up. And it usually takes about 3 months dead of winter to get that thing completely drained, right? So do the math, you know, 369, $300 a month. Again, be paying double that for the L7 and yielding maybe the 300. So I guess either way, I'm paying $300, you know, thinking about it like that. I guess either way, I'd be paying $300, but that's if I sell everything, you know what I mean? And it's like, why am I going to mine if I'm just going to sell everything I mine? Makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Mr. Astrostar just bought a hoodie, Kaspa. Oh yes, that QR code. Oh, you know what? I forgot to freaking get rid of that. Can't even scan the QR code. My bad. Chat box is over it. Yes, so I have the QR code. That's for the crypto merch. I do need to add a bunch of stuff today. Actually, I plan on sitting down and doing a bunch of different hoodies that actually just like the logos and the names of coins. If you guys have anything specific you want, let me know in Discord. Just DM me, send me an email, whatever you guys would like. All right. Anyways, guys, I gotta get back to daddy duty. I appreciate you all for hanging out with me today. Hopefully, you guys have a great day. And yes, DJ, I know $600 is insane. It's ridiculous. National Grid wants to F us all. Anyways, guys, have a good day. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.